Chris's fourth and long
Need
segment.
the jingle.
Hope you have something good this week. We do not. Yes, we need to. But yes, Chris's long.
You can play the NFL music.
Bum,
I like
bum,
the
bum,
NFL music.
What
for
do
the
you
intro.
got this week for us for Chris's fourth and
This
long?
is the third edition or the
This
fourth?
is third or fourth edition. I don't know. I guess you guys are liking this, but this is a lot of fun. It's fun putting these questions together. So here's the first one here for fourth and long. Is Brian Snitker, okay, think about this for a minute. The Braves skipper, is this his last season? Does he know something the rest of us don't know? Is that why he's not flipping out after all these losses? We cannot figure out a way to win. Is this his last year? Is he done? Or does he just think it's not that good this year?
He's just there.
Are we punting or are we going for it?
So the Braves historically, and this is the problem that I
don't
had
really
with the
fire
Braves.
guys for a while.
Well, that, and they also never hire anyone that's outside of the organization.
Oh.
And to me, that is a recipe for kind of like how the Steelers are, to where they've always just kind of stayed. Yes, we won the World Series, but that, has kind of shown that it was maybe a little bit of an anomaly.
Lightning in a bottle.
That too, with all the injuries we had that year and who we signed and, how that whole thing played out. To me, it could be. I definitely, if this year continues to go down, how old he is, how long he's been there, I definitely think there's a possibility. But even if we do, we're just going to hire someone within the organization, and we're not. It's going to be the same thing instead of going outside of it, trying to find the best guy for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess you could say go for it, because I think there's a possibility that he gets fired at the end of the year if the season continues the route that it's taking.
Yeah.
I don't think it will solve anything, though, realistically. I think it really comes down to the players, and the players playing to what they should be playing like, over the manager who, if we do fire him, great, we're just going to hire someone else who's been in the organization for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, and I've never really understood, especially with teams that do that, why you, one, hold on to managers, but why you don't gut the entire staff. Because, like, realistically, at least in my head, how much influence does a manager really have? I look way more at the strength and conditioning coaches, the pitching coaches, and the hitting coaches, which are obviously hired by the manager. So yeah, but a lot of the time, at least with the White Sox, what I've seen is they hold on to those staff members and they just fire the head guy, which is like, you're not changing anything. I don't get it. And so if that's the route that they go, I am very worried for the Braves, but I'm going for it. I do think that Snitker is just kind of like, I mean, this is probably the second or third year in a row that this has happened, like injuries and people not playing to their standard. And it's, what else can he do?
Well, and I like, to your point too, I was talking to Jake about it, to where it's like the manager really only decides on, some pitch hitters, the lineup, the pitchers, of when to pull guys, when
and
to
even
put
that
guys
he's
in.
getting influence from his staff for that stuff.
Yeah, so that is important.
Yeah.
Yes,
staff is more
I do
important.
agree, though, like the hitting coach, even like Ron Washington being on third base, and now he's the manager for the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
I think we really, really miss that presence that we have of him on third base, but in everything he did within the team, for preparation, for all he did.
You think they'll bring him back to be the new head coach?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just don't think. But even that, though, it's like we're bringing back someone who was in the organization instead of going out and trying to find someone. So I don't know. I've always been an advocate for, if you do want a head coach, field all your options. Don't just look within, and look for the comfortable option of someone who's been here, someone who knows our culture, someone who knows this, and he's going to just seamlessly fit in. Like, no, go out. If you truly want to win and be competitive as you can, go out and find the coach that is going to have the best ability or chance, as much as a manager can in baseball, to give you that. So that's my opinion.
Okay, here we go. Next one. So 2 big movies are in the box office this weekend. One that's been there for a couple of weeks. Mission Impossible's been there, but How to Train Your Dragon is coming out this weekend. You're standing at the ticket counter. which one are you going for, and which one are you punting first? Which movie would you rather see?
I would just like to say that the How to Train Your Dragon movie is probably one of the stupidest and like just worst ideas for a remake ever. It like, why the hell do you need to remake that? That like, I'm punting it. I don't even have anything else to say other than it's going to be the exact same story, except it looks worse in CGI.
So you're going to go Mission Impossible with me.
So to that,
Mission Impossible, 100%.
So to that, I have heard that, you know, a lot of these remakes happen, like Lilo Stitch just happened, you know, all these Little Mermaid, you know, all of them.
Oh my God.
And they change them, you know, and I'm fine with that because, you know, you have to give it kind of like a reason why we made this, like why we made it in live action, other than obviously the main reason of we just wanted to suck out all the money we could of this already popular film.
Universal just released a new theme park, and part of it is a How to Train Your Dragon land, so it's just a little ironic to me that, you know, it's all happening in the same
it's all together.
time
but,
period.
But to my point, though, is I have heard that How to Train Your Dragon is literally like a shot-for-shot remake of the animated. But my question to you is, with the remakes of, you know, turning into live action, would you rather it be a shot for shot to the animated version, or would you rather it be changed and then all of a sudden you're looking at it going, why the hell did they change that? Why did they change that? Why didn't they just leave it the same like they kind of did with Lilo Stitch? If they're going to make them, which one would you rather have?
Oh, I'd much rather it be a shot for shot, but don't use shit CGI that's going to look worse than the animated version, which is what I honestly think it's going to look like. It's just going to, like, Toothless is going to look stupid. And like a live action version of him, they didn't draw him to look live action. So it's like that already is going to, all of the stuff, like the characters in that show or in the movie were not drawn for live action. So it's already going to look weird. And so, I'd rather it be just a faithful adaptation, but I'm just waiting for when they ruin Hercules. I'm waiting for it because it's coming. It's coming. That's like the one classic that has been untouched. Should remain untouched. Not going to be.
I think most of them should remain But to answer your question, I really like How to Train Your Dragons.
I'll go watch the old ones.
Toothless is one of my favorite animated animal characters, I would say.
That's one of my favorite. Is it DreamWorks? That's DreamWorks? Yeah. One of my favorite DreamWorks movies ever. Up there with Shrek.
But at the same time, though, I think Mission Impossible, with it being the last one, Tom Cruise is great. Yeah. I think they're both going to be. If I had to pick, though, if I was sitting there and had to decide, I think I would probably go with How to Train Your Dragon.
Really?
Wow. Okay.
That'd be my answer.
Okay, one more here. So last night, the Atlanta Dream defeated the Indiana Fever here in town.
Oh, no.
Without Caitlin Clark. So if you had tickets to the game last night, did you stay home and watch the Braves lose to the I guess,
Brewers.
Milwaukee? Or are you going to the game anyway? Are you going for it or are you punting?
I'm going to be an advocate for this. If I had tickets, if I purchased tickets months ago, knowing that they were going to be here and I was going to be able to watch
We looked
Caitlin
at that.
Clark,
we circled that date on the calendar.
We did. And they've played here a couple times now. I would have sold my tickets. Well, I mean...
you couldn't have sold your tickets. You could have given them away.
I could have given them away.
Yeah,
I think Caitlin Clark runs it. Wherever she goes, she brings the fans, she brings the attention, and when she's not there, we've seen it.
I'm going to punt whenever Caitlin Clark is not involved.
I agree. I can set it better myself. I'm punting whenever she's not involved, and I don't care who you're playing.
Get her in the playoffs, give her awards, get her in the finals.
You need it. She's the catalyst.
You also need another great player. They need a Beckers and Caitlin Clark rivalry. They need to stop shoving Angel Reese down our throat because that shit's not happening.
I mean,
ever. Paige Beckers is the guy that I'm referring to the person that the guy wrote a narrative over on our last episode talking about how Beckers was, the better popular one before.
Yeah.
That's what we need to see. And it can happen.
But that's sports
Angel
though.
Reese.
Like that's in everything. Like all those little mini rivalries. I think the more you build that and the more you create
that rivalry.
Push all of them. Mm-hmm. Like I'm even fine with the Angel Reese one because
it's fun.
It gets people talking about it.
They're
gets
still
social
on that
media
streak,
stuff.
right? That's that betting streak for her.
I think
it's
so.
Still going. What is that, like 8 or 9 in a row?
Like 7.
How much money have they made?
I don't know. I'd have to really look at the account.
Funny.
I think I'm punting whenever she's not involved, but I'm there if she is involved because she creates.
Okay.
I mean, she's the catalyst.
They need to create more rivalries with her. I think her and Beckers is the next one that needs to be, spotlighted.
And if I was a different team or a player, I would try to create my own organic rivalry with her because of how big and how much attention she brings.
Oh, absolutely.
Create attention for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Do it in a good way. Don't hip check her. Don't try to hurt her. Yeah. Don't do something like that. But naturally try to
talk shit to her in the game,
competitive hit
a shot in her face, do her fucking celebration,
anything. That's what I think. And all of that, we see that in all the other sports leagues. It is nothing but, I think, free publicity. Just every social media with how big and how everything circles around the internet, a snap of a finger. You can't go wrong, and Caitlin Clark is the catalyst for that. And that's how I would view it if I was any player right now.
So do we have time for one more?
Yes.
Do we have time for one more?
Yes,
okay, one more. So here's one that I think is interesting. We're coming up on the trade deadline pretty soon.
For the MLB.
Do you think, for baseball, do you think the Braves should punt on this season and potentially trade one of their superstars? Players. If so, what superstar do you think that might be? Are you punting on the fact that we shouldn't or should bring in someone?
What does their farm system look like?
So we have.
Do you guys have a decent?
Where's that
farm
pitcher
system?
from? He was from Florida, right? We drafted the really good pitcher from Florida. He's in our farm system. But to answer your question, I think we're not trading for anyone. For one, if it goes on the trend of what it is.
So we're selling. We're not.
We're going to be 14 games under 500.
Well,
14
with the
games
Mets
back.
and the Phillies in your division.
Yeah.
As well.
So to
Mets
me,
the best team in baseball.
And I know Braves fans aren't going to want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, but I think Chris Sale and Ozuna are the two teams are going to want. And Chris Sale dominates against every lineup in baseball right now. You put him on a team that is going to
Dodgers.
the Dodgers, I think even Minnesota, Milwaukee, some of these teams that would kill for a pitcher that they can throw out there and go, he's got it.
You think the Yankees?
We're going to score 5-6 runs, and Chris Sale's going to pitch 11 strikeouts, 7 innings, not going to let up any runs.
What would you have to get in return to give up
some
Chris
farm
Sale?
players?
Well, he's older, and you never,
players.
2 seasons in a row of him being like this now, the clock is ticking on him. So I don't think you're going to be able to get a haul the way that we might think we are just because he's on the Braves and we think we deserve it.
1 or 2 guys, maybe.
Maybe 3 max.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not be surprised if we get to the trade deadline and teams are going to be calling for Sale, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
With how he's doing, with how shitty the Braves are right now, teams are going to be on the phone for Sale. And I think Ozuna too, because I know his contract is up. I think Chris Sale's contract is also up after this year. So it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want it to happen? No, because that would really suck. But I would not be surprised if we get a notification by the time that trade deadline. Chris Sale has been traded to the Minnesota Twins
New York Yankees
or someone like that.
What are we going to do with that fan that always dresses up like Ozuna? What's he going to do if they trade him? Poor guy, he's going to have to move.
He's going to move to where
he's going to have to move to a new town.
That guy is pretty funny.
I'm going for it. I think whichever one was the right term for. I think they're going to sell the season. I don't think there's no shot in hell that. I think, especially with the Phillies and the Mets playing how they are, and just how stacked and healthy they are. The Braves are kind of fizzling out, and they would be very, very stupid to not capitalize on trading some of these guys, especially if you don't have the strongest farm system. I think this could be an opportunity for you to re-up a little bit, and we still got a great roster overall.
Yeah, we really do.
Guys called up, so it's. Just kind of, I don't know. Yeah, sell some of your veterans. I think, Chris Sale, Ozuna. Honestly, I hate to say it, but Acuna's torn his ACL twice now, so there's that. But I know Jake's over there shaking his head.
No way.
I think if he's torn his ACL twice.
I agree with you, but I think if there's one player that is like
no way,
people would burn down the
city if they traded.
I don't think Acuna is going to. I could see an Austin Riley.
Really?
I could see an Ozzy. I could see a Michael Harris, 100%. But there's one guy that I think is untouchable. You do not trade Acuna the MVP, no matter how many times he may tear his ACL.
That's
what I would say.
What if he tears it again?
Yeah.
Well, he's done it in both knees now.
Yeah.
So if he were to tear it, I mean, there'd be a relapse of.
Take him out back.
If there's one player that I think is truly, truly untouchable, I would probably say it's Acuna on the Braves.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, but Chris Sale, don't be shocked if we get a notification saying Chris Sale is traded to blank.
Hot take right there. Dawson thinks they're going to trade Sale.
It could definitely happen. Definitely.